My unemployed girlfriend said, "I don't cook or clean. That's internalized misogyny, but you still need to pay my credit card debt because you're the provider." I replied, "You're right, I should provide." Then I provided her with a notice to quit the eviction form and canceled the maid service. When she realized she had to actually work to survive, the reality check hit harder than a freight train. I, 34M, am a construction project manager. My life is built on logistics, concrete, and contracts. If a subcontractor doesn't show up, they don't get paid. If a structure isn't up to code, we tear it down. I have zero patience for inefficiency and absolutely no tolerance for people who feel entitled to rewards they haven't earned. I own my house, a 4-bedroom place I bought 3 years ago after grinding 60-hour weeks in my 20s. It's my sanctuary. My girlfriend, Jessica, 29F, moved in 8 months ago. We had been dating for 2 years before that. And I need to address this immediately because I know how it looks. Why were you with her? For the first 2 years, Jessica was a completely different human being. She worked as an executive assistant for a logistics firm. She was sharp, organized, and grounded. We split dates 50-50 without me asking. She cooked, I cooked. She cleaned, I cleaned. It was a partnership. I respected her work ethic. Then she moved in, and slowly, the mask didn't just slip. She peeled it off and threw it in the trash. It started about 3 months ago. She mutually separated from her job. She claimed her new boss was abusive and the environment was toxic. Being a supportive partner, I told her, "Okay, you have savings. I can cover the household bills for a month or 2 while you decompress and find something better." I thought I was investing in our future. I was actually financing my own replacement. Instead of looking for work, she fell down the algorithmic rabbit hole of high-value woman TikTok and Instagram. You know the stuff. If he wanted to, he would. You are the prize. Feminine energy is receiving, masculine energy is providing. I started coming home from 10-hour shifts, covered in drywall dust and exhaust fumes, to a house that looked like a frat house. Takeout containers everywhere, laundry piled on the dining table. The sink overflowing with dishes that had been there for 3 days. And Jessica? She'd be lounging on the sofa in a silk robe I bought her, scrolling on her phone. One night, about 3 weeks ago, I asked, "Hey, did you get around to calling that recruiter?" She didn't look up. "No, I'm focusing on regulating my nervous system right now. The corporate world is too aggressive for my energy." I gritted my teeth. "Okay, well, the dishwasher is full. Can you run it?" "I didn't make that mess," she said. "Jessica, there are 3 smoothie cups and a salad bowl in the sink. You absolutely made that mess." "You're being really intense right now," she sighed. "It's blocking my peace." I let it slide. That was my mistake. I ignored the red flag because I remembered the woman she used to be. But last Tuesday, the final nail didn't just go in the coffin. It was hammered in with a sledgehammer. I walked in at 6:30 p.m. I was starving. The kitchen was a disaster zone. Jessica was sitting at the kitchen island with a stack of papers, my mail. Specifically, my credit card statement. I had added her as an authorized user for groceries and house emergencies only. "We need to talk," she said. Her tone wasn't apologetic. It was authoritative. I looked at the statement. The balance was $4,800 in 1 month. I picked it up, my hands shaking slightly from adrenaline. Nordstrom, $600. Sephora, $450. A local med spa, $800. Uber Eats orders 3 times a day. "What is this?" I asked, my voice deadly calm. She crossed her arms and tilted her chin up. "I needed to invest in myself. Being in this house alone all day is draining. I needed self-care to maintain my appearance and my vibe for you." "Draining?" I laughed, a harsh, dry sound. "You don't work? You don't pay rent? You don't pay utilities? You don't clean? You don't cook? What exactly is draining you?" That was the moment. She looked me dead in the eye and recited the script she'd learned from her online gurus. "I don't cook or clean, Jason. Expecting me to be a domestic servant just because I'm a woman is internalized misogyny. I bring feminine energy to this house. My presence is the value. Your job as the man is to facilitate that. You need to pay this debt and raise the limit on the card because you are the provider. That is your biological role." I stared at her. The silence stretched for 10 seconds. I realized I wasn't looking at my partner. I was looking at a squatter who viewed me as an ATM with a pulse. "So," I said slowly, "if I want a traditional woman who doesn't work, I have to be a traditional man who pays for everything without question. Exactly, she smiled, thinking she had won. I'm glad you finally get it. It's about polarity. You're right, I said. I haven't been playing my role correctly. I need to provide. I walked past her into my home office. I heard her hum happily, probably thinking she was getting a credit limit increase. I unlocked my filing cabinet. I own a rental property across town, so I keep a stack of legal forms handy. I pulled out a standard notice to quit form. In my state, if someone lives in your home without a lease but receives mail, they are a tenant at will. You cannot kick them out instantly without risking an illegal eviction lawsuit. You have to give them 30 days. I filled it out. Date, name, address, termination of tenancy. I walked back into the kitchen and slapped the paper on top of the Sephora charges. What is this? She asked, picking it up. That, I said, cracking the beer, is me providing. I am providing you with a 30-day notice to vacate my property. I am providing you with a reality check. And I am providing you with the opportunity to find another man who will tolerate this, because I won't. Her jaw dropped. You can't do this. I'm your girlfriend. Not anymore, I said. Now, you are an unwanted tenant. I pulled out my phone and opened the app for the cleaning service we use twice a month, a luxury I paid for. I'm also canceling the maid service, I said, tapping the screen. Why? She shrieked. You know I don't clean. You said expecting you to clean is misogyny, I replied, leaning against the counter. I don't want to be a misogynist, so I am removing the paid help. You can clean up your own mess, or you can live in filth for the next 30 days. But I am not paying another woman to clean up after an unemployed woman who sits on my couch all day. I then opened my banking app. And this credit card? The one you used for your vibe? I tapped Remove Authorized User. Cancelled. Card is dead. How am I supposed to eat? She screamed, standing up. You have all that feminine energy, I said, walking toward the living room. I'm sure you can trade it for a sandwich. Or, here's a crazy idea. Get a job. I sat down, turned on the TV, and turned the volume up. She screamed for an hour. I didn't say a word. The war has begun. Update 1. It has been 5 days since the notice to quit was served. If you thought she would pack her bags with dignity, you don't understand the level of delusion these coaches instill in people. First came the flying monkeys. Her mother, Linda, called me while I was on a job site inspecting a foundation pour. Jason, I am hearing very disturbing things, Linda said. No hello. Is it that your daughter stole $5,000 from me and refuses to wash a spoon? I asked. She's trying to find herself. Linda snapped. You are being financially abusive, cutting off her resources, making her homeless. You are a man, Jason. You have a duty to protect her. I am protecting myself, Linda. She isn't my wife. She isn't the mother of my children. She is a roommate who stopped paying her share of the emotional rent. She has 25 days left. If she stays past that, I file for formal eviction with the sheriff. Goodbye. I blocked Linda immediately. When I got home that day, the house was dark. Jessica was sitting on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, glaring at me. The Wi-Fi isn't working, she said. I know, I replied, kicking off my boots. I changed the password. Give it to me, she demanded. I need it. No, I said, walking to the fridge. Internet costs $80 a month. Providers pay for things. I am providing internet for myself. Since you aren't contributing, you don't get the bandwidth. I need it to look for jobs, she lied. You have a phone with a data plan, I pointed out. Use that, or go to the public library, it's free. She threw a pillow at me. I caught it and tossed it back. Then she tried the weaponized incompetence tactic. She started leaving her mess everywhere on purpose. I'm talking half-eaten yogurt cups on the coffee table, wet towels on the hardwood floors, makeup smeared on the bathroom counter. She thought this would break me. She knows I hate a dirty house. She thought I would just clean it up to keep the peace. She forgot that I work in construction. I have lived in job site trailers. I have dealt with hazardous waste. I didn't clean it. I collected it. I took every single item she left out, dirty plates, wet towels, makeup bags, shoes, and I put them on her side of the bed. When she went to sleep that night, she's sleeping in the master bedroom, I moved to the guest room and installed a key code lock. She found a pile of garbage on her Egyptian cotton sheets. I heard the scream from down the hall. Are you insane? She yelled, banging on my locked door. Internalized misogyny. I yelled back. I didn't want to clean it up and offend you. Yesterday, she tried to order Uber Eats. She evidently forgot I canceled the card. The charge declined. She came storming into the garage where I was working on my motorcycle. You embarrassed me, she yelled. The delivery driver is outside and the payment failed. Sounds like a personal problem, I said, tightening a bolt. Pay for it, Jason. It's $30. I'm starving. There's a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter in the pantry, I said without looking up. I bought those. You're welcome to them. I don't want peanut butter. Then get a job, I said. I heard the gas station down the street is hiring night shift. They offer a discount on hot dogs. She actually stomped her foot. A 29-year-old woman stomped her foot like a toddler in a garage. The clock is ticking. 25 days left. Update 2. Things have escalated. Drastically. 10 days into the 30-day notice. Jessica realized that pouting and trying to guilt-trip me wasn't working, so she called for backup. I came home on Monday to find a strange BMW in my driveway. I walked inside, and there was Jessica and some random woman I had never met sitting at my dining table. Jason, this is Sarah, Jessica said, looking triumphant. She's a tenant rights advocate and a friend of a friend. Sarah looked at me over her glasses. She had that smug look of someone who took 1 semester of law in college and thinks she's a Supreme Court justice. Sir, you are creating a hostile living environment, Sarah announced. Cutting off internet, restricting access to funds, and emotional intimidation. This is illegal constructive eviction. I didn't even put down my keys, I laughed. Constructive eviction, I repeated. Okay. Did I change the locks? No. Did I cut off the water or electricity? No. Did I turn off the heat? No. Internet is a luxury utility, not a human right. And access to funds? It's my money. She isn't my wife. She has established residency, Sarah argued. You cannot just kick her out. I know, I said. That's why I gave her a 30-day notice to quit, in accordance with state code. I have the video of me handing it to her and a text confirmation where she acknowledged it. Sarah paused. She wasn't expecting me to know the code. You are creating a toxic environment, Sarah pivoted. We are going to file a complaint. You do that, I said. Now, Sarah, unless you are on the deed, which I know you aren't, you are trespassing. Get out. I am her guest, Sarah said smugly. She lives here. I am the sole property owner, I said, stepping closer. And as the property owner, I am revoking your license to be on this property. You are no longer a guest. You are an intruder. You have exactly 1 minute to leave before I call the sheriff's department. Jessica has rights to guests, Sarah sputtered. Jessica is a tenant at will who is being evicted, I said. I own the building. I decide who is allowed on the premises. You are banned. Leave. I pulled out my phone and started dialing the non-emergency line on speaker. Hi, this is Jason at address. I have an intruder in my home who is refusing to leave after being trespassed. Yes, I'll hold. Sarah stood up so fast she knocked her chair over. We're leaving, she hissed. No, I said. Sarah is leaving. Jessica, you live here for 20 more days. You stay. Sarah, goodbye. Sarah practically ran out, but Jessica wasn't done. She decided to go nuclear. 2 days ago, I came home and my TV was gone. My 65-inch OLED from the living room. The wall mount was empty. I felt a vein pop in my forehead. This wasn't petty anymore. This was criminal. I found Jessica in the bedroom, packing a bag. Where's my TV? I asked. I sold it, she said, not looking at me. I needed cash since you cut me off. It's marital assets. We live together, so it's community property. We aren't married, I roared. That is theft. Grand larceny, actually, given the value. It's compensation for my emotional labor, she spat. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I walked out, got in my truck, and drove straight to the police station. I filed a report for theft. I showed them the receipt for the TV with my name and credit card number, dated 3 years ago, before I even met her. I showed them the text messages where she admitted to selling it. The officer, a guy around my age, looked at the texts and shook his head. She actually admitted it in writing? She thinks she's entitled to it, I said. They drove to the house with me. Jessica answered the door looking smug, probably thinking I was just trying to scare her again. When she saw the uniforms, the color drained from her face. Ma'am, did you remove the television set from the residence? The officer asked. It's ours, she stammered. I live here. I have a receipt here showing it belongs to Mr. Jason. Do you have a receipt showing you purchased it? No, but where is it? She crumbled. She had pawned it at a shop down the street for $400. The police officer explained the situation very clearly. Ma'am, this is theft over $1,000. That is a felony. Now, we can go down to the station and book you right now, or you can get in your car, go to the pawn shop with us, and buy it back immediately. She started crying. I spent some of the money. Then you better find the rest, I said cold-heartedly. Ask your mom, ask your high-value friends. But if that TV isn't back on my wall in an hour, I press charges. She called her mother. Linda screamed at me over the phone, but she transferred the money. Jessica went to the pawn shop with the police escort. She brought the TV back. One more item goes missing, I told her as she lugged the TV back inside, and I don't give you the option to buy it back. You go straight to jail. Do not touch my property. She spent the last 2 days locked in the guest room. I installed a camera in the living room. 18 days left. Update 3. 5 days left. The end is in sight. Jessica realized that pouting, legal threats, and theft weren't working. She realized she was actually going to be homeless. Her mom wouldn't take her in. Her high-value friends turned out to be broke influencers who live in studio apartments and couldn't host her. She came to me on Friday night. She looked rough. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing sweatpants. The vibe was gone. Jason, can we talk? She asked. If it's about extending the 30 days, no, I said. I was cooking a steak, just one. I got a job, she said quietly. I paused. Oh? Yeah, it's at a call center. Customer service. It pays $15 an hour. Good for you, I said. Honest work. It's not enough to get an apartment, she said, tears welling up. First, last, and security deposit. I can't do it. Please, Jason, I'll pay rent, I'll clean, I'll stop listening to those podcasts. Just let me stay. I looked at her. For a split second, I saw the girl I used to date. But then I remembered the $4,800 debt. I remembered internalized misogyny. I remembered her trying to pawn my TV. I remembered her bringing a stranger into my house to threaten me. The mask was back on, but I knew what was underneath now. No, I said. Why? She sobbed. I'm trying. I'm humbling myself. You aren't humbling yourself, I told her. You are desperate. You aren't sorry for how you treated me. You're sorry that the free ride ended. If I let you stay, in 2 months you'll quit this job, you'll be back on the couch, and you'll be telling me I'm toxic for asking you to wash a spoon. I love you, she screamed, dropping to her knees. You don't love me, I said, flipping my steak. You love the lifestyle I provided. And frankly, Jessica, I don't like you anymore. I don't respect you. And I can't live with a woman I don't respect. She cried, she begged, she threw herself on the floor. I ate my steak in the dining room while she cried in the kitchen. I didn't feel guilty. I felt relieved. Yesterday was moving day. Technically she had until tomorrow, but she found a room. A room in a shared house with 4 other girls, sharing one bathroom. I watched her pack. It was pathetic. She had all these designer clothes she bought with my money, shoved into garbage bags because she couldn't afford suitcases. She tried to take the Dyson vacuum. Nope, I said, blocking the door. I bought that. I use it. You literally said I don't clean, so you definitely don't need a vacuum. She left it. When she walked out the door, she turned around for one last dramatic speech. You're going to regret this, she said. You threw away a good woman. You'll die alone with your money. I'd rather die alone with my money than live broke with a parasite, I said. Leave the key. She threw the key into the bushes. I didn't care. I have a digital lock now. I changed the code the second the door closed. Final update. 6 months later, it has been half a year since I evicted the high-value woman. Life is quiet and rich. Without Jessica's spending, her extra utilities usage, and the groceries she wasted, I've saved about $15,000 in 6 months. I bought a new motorcycle. I took a trip to Cabo with my buddies. I hired the maid service back, and my house is spotless. I met a new woman a few weeks ago. Her name is Dana. She's a nurse. On our first date, she insisted on splitting the bill. I paid, but the fact that she reached for her wallet that she offered nearly made me cry tears of joy. She has her own place, her own car, and her own life. And Jessica? Small towns talk. She lasted 3 weeks at the call center. She quit because her manager was disrespectful. He asked her to get off her phone. She got kicked out of the shared house because she, shockingly, didn't pay her share of the rent and ate everyone else's food. She is currently living with her sister, who is exactly like her, in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment. Apparently, they fight constantly because neither of them wants to clean or cook, so they are living in filth. She texted me last week. "Hey, I've been doing a lot of thinking. I was immature. I miss you. Can we get coffee?" I didn't reply. I screenshotted the text, printed it out, and pinned it to the corkboard in my garage next to my new bike. A daily reminder. Then I blocked her number. Gentlemen, let this be a lesson. The moment a partner tells you that providing is your duty while contributing is oppression, show them the door. Don't negotiate with terrorists and don't cohabit with squatters. I'm gonna go ride my bike. My house will be clean when I get back because I paid the maid. And she actually did the job. Because that's how providing actually